Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the West Coast Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Frias Guzman. And on today's episode, I am going to be talking about the Lakers. We'll be giving you guys a brief update on mainly the Raiders, as there has been just a little bit of news. I'm pretty sure almost every Raider fan knows the whole situation with Derek Carr and being released. Now it looks like the new quarterback search for the Raiders is well underway. All kinds of speculations, kind of the same news, kind of the same stuff going around. Some stuff going around like if the Raiders are going to be able to trade for Aaron Rodgers, are they going to use a draft pick? We'll talk all about that here in this episode. Plus, we'll talk all about the game from last night, going up with the Lakers going up against the Pelicans, as they ended up coming away with that victory. I believe it was like 120 to like 103, somewhere around there. Definitely a great game to go and watch. Definitely a lot of great things that you got to go and see now that LeBron was able to be reacclimated with the team. Didn't play over 30 minutes, I want to say, but great things from AD. He ended up looking a little bit more like himself. He looks like he's getting more into rhythm. The team is looking like they're getting used to kind of playing on the same court with each other and just kind of building some chemistry, if anything, if you would. You got to see that not only is it just AD and LeBron out there, but then you also got to see, along with D'Angelo Russell, his other teammates that he had on the Wolves, with Jared Vanderbilt and with Malik Beasley, also started in tonight's game. So we'll talk all about that. We'll talk all about what I saw in the game, what could be happening moving forward for the Lakers. We'll talk all about that in today's episode. It is episode 132. It is February 16th, 2023. Just a couple days away a day away from the weekend. Go on, maybe getting your week started or something like that. But just wanted to go ahead and get this podcast up for you guys. And just before I do so and get talking about the Raiders here, I wanted to go in and mention that you guys can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. It's going to be the same handle there, West Coast Pod 702. Again, that's West Coast Pod 702. Definitely go ahead and drop me a follow. If you have any questions, anything that you want to talk about on the podcast or sports in general or something like that, I'll be happy to go ahead and do so. So definitely don't hesitate. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and talk about the Raiders. With the Raiders, there's been a little bit of information coming out, all kinds of talks about what the Raiders could potentially do within this offseason. What if they actually go with Aaron Rodgers? What kind of a trade are they looking for? Who are the Raiders, or what are the Raiders going to have to go in and send over to the Packers in order to go and get this done? And in my opinion, if they're looking for any sort of draft compensation that's going to go ahead and make it more difficult in order to go in and draft a quarterback, if their eyes are really set on getting a young quarterback in this draft, then I think it might be a good idea to either save that or wait for it. Or if you really know that the guy that you think is going to go ahead and be the franchise quarterback for the remaining time, then why not do so? Why not take the chance? But in my opinion, if they already had, they should have already had a guy in mind, at least one or two, at least for sure, like one, then had a couple backups just in case. And that's my whole thinking is, if you're gonna make a move to go and bench Derek Carr to make sure that he is not gonna be the quarterback moving forward, you have to have some sort of a plan, some sort of a game plan in order to replace that. And at least with something that's gonna be, if not a little bit better, then for sure, or 100% no doubter, better than what you had before. Otherwise, what is honestly the point of having that big old fiasco that ended up happening, that had all kinds of question marks, not just in Raider players, but fans, and even some of the staff was not even sure what was going on, what was the plan for moving forward or anything like that. And I understand, obviously, they're not going to go out and say, oh, this is who we're going to go for, this is the young guy that we're going to go. No, they're not going to do that. But the way that things are kind of happening now, you're maybe, with hearing Aaron Rodgers, with hearing Jimmy G, with hearing Tom Brady, even after he's retired, hearing all these different names, Jarrett Stidham, maybe even Trey Lance, or maybe all these guys in the draft, or I've even heard this thing, I know it's probably really far-fetched, but I've even heard something where people are talking about that Derek Carr is going to come back. And the reason I paused on that one because I thought it was so idiotic. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Something about Derek Carr potentially coming back to the Raiders. I 100, and this is me being a Derek Carr fan. I 100% think that he's not going to be coming back after the way that front office did him like that. Nah. If they would have been more from like, hey Derek, let's go ahead and restructure that contract. If you get hurt, you're going to be fully guaranteed, but we will want to go to make it so then you still get that kind of money, but we just want to make sure that so then that way we're, something. If they would have been more upfront, Derek Carr's, maybe he would have told them, nah, y'all can go, F yourself or something like that, but at least they would have known where they stood, and at least they would have been more upfront and more transparent about the whole thing. I feel like, and I get it, it's a business, but I feel like most businesses that are ran well have a lot of transparency, in my opinion. Now, but again, that's just me. We'll have to go in and see what happens with this crazy quarterback search. There's all kinds of time going on. All that we know now is just that Derek Carr has been officially released and he is now able to sign with another team. He has like a whole month head start up against everybody else. So I'm pretty sure he's going to take his time and see exactly what team he would want to go with or sign with. But we'll see what happens from there. The main things here that I wanted to go and talk to you guys about today were about the Lakers. The Dodgers pitchers and catchers have been reporting. Again, teams are just going to go ahead and continue to do that. I believe some of the spring break games are going to be happening here shortly. I believe they're going to actually start in the next couple weeks or so, if I'm not mistaken, right towards the end of the month, and they have a whole month pretty much in March to go and start getting games going and everything and all that. And then right after that, you'll be looking at opening day. So it's right around the corner. It's it's coming up any day now, pretty much. I am going to be looking into seeing if I am able to go in and obtain some of those opening day tickets. That would be incredible. So with that being said, guys, I do just want to take a quick minute just to remind you to go ahead and follow this page on Instagram. If you haven't done so already, I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're not listening to the podcast. No, I'm kidding. No, but go ahead and check out this page. It's called Rosie's Designs EST 2022. Again, that's Rosie's Designs EST 2022. Definitely drop a follow on that page if you have any kind of events, parties, anything like that going on. Definitely go ahead and drop a follow on that page. Send her a DM. You'll be surprised as far as what kind of creations, what kind of designs, anything that you could think of for any kind of occasion, especially now that Valentine's Day has passed. Maybe you got something going on for 4th of July or a birthday or something like that. Any kind of pictures, colors, designs, or anything like that you could think of, my wife can definitely come up with something that you'll be definitely impressed with. But if you want to go and get some examples, take a look at the page and you'll be happy you did so. But again, definitely drop a follow. If you mention her that you heard about the podcast or you heard about her page on my podcast, maybe we'll give you a little bit of a hookup or something like that. Maybe give you a couple extra bags. But just want to mention that page for you guys. Definitely drop a follow and definitely don't hesitate to go in and send up any kind of questions that you got on that page. And that is Rosie's Designs EST 2022. So guys, I am going to be making this one a little bit of a short one, but I am going to be finishing up here talking about the game last night. Lakers ended up taking on the Pelicans, ended up beating them pretty easily. They were, I think, only up by 4 points. They had an 8-point lead, a 10-point lead, and then at the very end, ended up winning by, 15 points around there. It was 120 to 103 or something like that. Really good game overall from the Lakers. They ended up, utilizing a lot of their new players, a lot of different, offensive game planning, I guess, or different things, different actions that you didn't see on the previous team, based on the personnel or the players that they had before. You got to see AD running a couple handoffs with Malik Beasley where he was able to find some space and able to pull up for a jumper. And that's some of the stuff that you can definitely go ahead and work. When you have an elite shooter like that, when you can actually run some actions for them. You can run ball screens for them. You can run screens where they can actually get a little bit of space and they can just pull up and shoot from 3 or shoot from 2. You got to go and see that a couple times from Malik Beasley. The thing that I was most impressed about, in my opinion, was D'Angelo Russell actually being able to utilize his passing ability. When you think about D'Angelo Russell, you obviously think about his scoring ability and the way that he's able to really fill up that scoring sheet. But you got to see that he understands he has a big man in Anthony Davis that you need to feed the ball to. If you get him the ball early and often, he is going to be engaged in the game in so many different ways, not just on the defensive side, which he always does, but he's going to be even more engaged. And then if he's engaged on the defensive side, that means that your defense is going to be locked in. That means that you're going to have a lot of opportunities to be able to get out and run. And then if he's locked in on defense and he's locked in on offense because you got him going early and everything, then you're going to be locked in on defense and on offense with him. You're going to have all kinds of different ways to go and be able to utilize him in screen, pick and roll. You can dump it off into him. He has his passing ability is starting to come back early, like based on like what it was looking like earlier in the season. You're seeing that he can find the open man really easy. You're seeing that he has a way of being able to keep that ball really high away from other defenders, being able to get to his guys that are open. You also see with D'Angelo Russell, he's working a lot of ways of being able to work out lobs with Anthony Davis, with LeBron James. And that shooting ability that he has is never going to go away. It looks like he is just a pure shooter when it comes down to it. I think he was like 3 for 5. You got to see that Malik Beasley, he really does shoot these 3-pointers at a high volume, but you need somebody like that. You need somebody that's going to make you think twice about, going out and putting a hand in his face, because he has the ability of being able to beat somebody off the dribble if they're closing out super hard on him too. So he is that kind of a player where he has more than just that, shooting bag in his trick. We also got to see Mo Bamba out there today. If you guys didn't see, definitely go and check out some of the highlights. Mo Bamba definitely looked good out there. You got to see what it looks like with having that backup 5, with having a legit backup 5, even him getting a couple passes from LeBron James and him getting some big dump off passes to make some big dunks on there. So definitely just a great game overall. Even Jared Vanderbilt, he did his thing. He was really good in the defensive side, guarding Brandon Ingram. And I know if you probably look at the stat sheet or something like that, you're like, well, Brandon Ingram still went like 50% and made like 25 points. Yeah, you could say that. But if you didn't see the game, Jared Vanderbilt really did a good job on him. He actually, applied a lot of pressure on him. He made his shots. He made the shots he had to make very difficult. Or unless if he really just beat him off the dribble or beat him somehow, then he was able to get a really good shot. But overall, it was a really good showing from Jared Vanderbilt. Even CJ McCollum did a really great job. I think when it comes down to the Pelicans, they really just need that third star, that third scorer that's going to be able to help them out, maybe relieve a little bit of the pressure off of those guys. And I really feel like that's what the Lakers have been able to go in and find. So you have a guy like D'Angelo Russell who can do that. But then you also have a lot of other guys that can go in and score. You have Rui Hachimura. You even have Jared Vanderbilt, who at times they both can get off and go in and score plenty of points. And you also even have a guy like Malik Beasley who can get hot from 3. And that guy can easily score 20 points and if he gets hot. So you have a lot of different options when it comes down to that. It's just really just gonna depend who's playing well that night, who has a hot hand or who has it going. So if the Lakers can kind of just keep to that, it seems a little bit similar to like that 2020 year where we ended up winning the championship and all that. And I think honestly, not only just with this season moving forward, but even with like this season afterwards. It sets the team up very, very well where we can actually go and have a couple different options in the offseason. We can build off of all this, and then we have a couple players that are actually going to be on the roster next year. So we can actually go and build some cohesion. We can actually build some chemistry with some of these other players. So in my opinion, I think it was just a great idea overall. Do I think that this team is capable of being in the playoffs or maybe able to make it into the playoffs? I think so. But we've been disappointed quite a bit this season. But maybe with this new look team, maybe with all the new players and everything and all that, and maybe these guys are hungry enough to where they can actually go and make a really strong push for the playoffs. I think so, but we'll just have to go and see. I'm one of those kind of people. I can have all the belief in the world, but that belief means nothing if these guys don't get it done. But we'll have to go in and see what happens with that. This was the last game before the All-Star break. They're coming there after the All-Star break. They're going to be starting their first game up against the Warriors. Can't wait to go and see that game. Can't wait to go and see what's going to look like. And after the team has some rest and everything, hopefully they have some time to practice with as well, and being able to go ahead and get more acclimated with each other. But with that being said, that is going to close it for today's episode. I will see if I record another podcast tomorrow for Friday morning. But if not, then I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you guys have a great day, great rest of your week and everything as well. Just make sure you guys take care. Hit me up if you guys have any kind of questions. Definitely don't hesitate to let me know. And again, you can find me out at West Coast Pod 702. Plus, you can find me on Facebook, West Coast Sports Podcast, and also my email account, westcoastsportspodcast@gmail.com. So definitely don't hesitate to do so. But take care, everybody. Make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them. Take care of all of your loved ones. Take care. Have a good one. And I'll see you either this tomorrow or next week. Peace.